Let's see how we can get the first n rows of a data frame in Python using Google Colab. We have the get the first n rows of a data frame, .ipynb file open. We have the data frame. First, we have imported the pandas library with an alias, pd. So instead of using pandas, we can simply use pd. Next we have used the pd.dataframe function to create a data frame, df, using a dictionary, where the columns are the keys, so we have 3 columns ID, name, and department. And the lists are the column data. Then we can print this df, to check if this variable df is actually assigned the data frame we have given. We want to get the first n rows of a data frame. We can do that by using the df, or data frame name, .head method in Python, primarily used within the pandas library, returns the first n rows of a data frame, or series object. It is a crucial tool for quickly inspecting the structure and data types of a dataset, without loading the entire content into view. The basic syntax for the head method is, df.head, in parenthesis, n. The method takes one optional parameter, n, an integer specifying the number of rows to return. If n is not specified, it defaults to 5 rows. If n is positive, it returns the first n rows. If n is negative, it returns all rows except the last absolute value of n rows. If n is larger than the number of rows in the data frame, it returns all the rows. So let's say, we want to get only the first 5 rows of the data frame, so we can simply write df, because the data frame is df, head, and parenthesis, by default it will take n as 5, and it will return the first 5 rows of the data frame. We will have to run this first code cell to assign this data frame to this variable df. So let's run this first code cell. We see that, we get the data frame with the 3 columns, ID, name, and department, and we have 10 rows, indexed from 0 to 9. If we run this code cell next, we see that, we get the first 5 rows of the data frame, indexed from 0 to 4. Now, let's say we specifically give n a positive integer. Let's say we want only the top 3 rows, so we can write n as 3. So we will write df.head in parenthesis 3. Let's run this code cell. We see that, we get only the first 3 rows of the data frame. Now, let's say we give a negative integer, say -5. So it will give all the rows except for the last 5 rows. So we will get the first 5 rows in effect. Let's run this code cell. We see that, we get the first 5 rows. Now, let's say instead of -5, we give something like -3, so, except for the last 3 rows, we will get all the rows of the data frame, that is, from ID 1 to 7, or indexed from 0 to 6. Let's run this code cell. We see that, we get the rows with ID 1 to 7, that is, the first 7 rows, except for the last 3 rows with IDs 8, 9, and 10, we get all the rows. Let's say if we give n greater than the total number of rows in the data frame. There are 10 rows in the data frame. Let's say we give n as 15. Let's run this code cell. We see that it gives all the rows in the data frame. It does not return an error saying that the number of rows in the data frame is less than the parameter n. It gives all the rows in the data frame, from ID 1 to 10. Let's not give any end parameter, so the default value, 5 would be taken, and we would get the first 5 rows. So we will write df.head parenthesis. Let's run this code cell. We get the first 5 rows of the data frame. With this, we have successfully learned how to get the first n rows of a data frame in Python using Google Colab. Thank you for your time. Please like, share, and subscribe if this video was useful.